Hey, not too bad. I finally got my phone positioned in the right way to share this update with Omega Fats Action Network. This is your boy Jeremy Hempy, activist in Cleveland, Ohio, that started the actonfats.com blog. I wanted to share with you that my community, I'm helping to just organize some more awareness around what the wireless communication infrastructure in our area, how quickly it's expanding, what kind of strength is it, all that kind of stuff. And I want to let you guys know about the resources available from ehtrust.org, Environmental Health Trust, that go into how to keep your community safe from excessive wireless radiation. So I wanted to read some good news that Easton, Connecticut has passed a resolution calling for the halt of 5G. And this, I wanted to read aloud the statements affirmed in the city of Easton, Connecticut, what their resolution entailed. Okay, Town of Easton. A resolution calling upon all telecommunications companies and public utilities operating in Easton, Connecticut to cease the build-out of so-called 5G wireless infrastructure until such technologies have been proven safe to human health and the environment through independent research and testing. Whereas the telecommunications industry is engaged in a massive deployment of microwave and millimeter wave small cell antennas across the country to facilitate the next generation of wireless communications known as 5G, and whereas the new technology uses existing wireless infrastructure and new types of RF radio frequency microwave radiation to transmit large amounts of data, but requires significantly closer proximity to users, resulting in the dense deployment of antennas near residences, schools, and hospitals. And whereas the deployment of 5G-enabled small cell antennas in our neighborhoods raises questions regarding the potential health and environmental impacts of a long-term exposure to untested RF microwave radiation frequencies, and whereas the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, has not conducted any long-term safety testing of new 5G wireless technologies and has failed to update its human RF microwave radiation exposure guidelines since 1996, despite being advised to do so by the U.S. GAO, General Accounting Office, and the American Academy of Pediatrics, and hundreds of medical and scientific experts from around the world. And whereas a significant body of published peer-reviewed independent investigation suggests a link from RF exposure with serious environmental biological harm, including increased risk of cancer, reproductive harm, and neurological impairments. And, wow, they really made it thorough on this. And I messed it up. It says independent investigation suggests a link from exposure to EMF microwave radiation I would have worded that differently. Okay. Whereas populations, especially at risk from this exposure, include pregnant women, children, the elderly, and individuals with implanted medical devices or cardiac and neurological problems. Whereas Swiss Re, the second largest reinsurance company in the world, called 5G a high-impact liability risk due to health risks in its 2019 Sonar Emerging Risks report. And whereas the theory that exposure to RF microwave radiation is harmless, which has been the underlying principle of all of our federal legislation and regulations regarding wireless technology for more than 20 years, has now been questioned. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Easton calls upon telecommunications companies and public utilities operating in Easton to cease and desist the build-out of 5G-enabled small cell antennas until December 31st, 2020. approved May 7th. And how much you want to bet they will not have safe solutions by then? Because the proximity is the problem. The strength is the problem. There's so many myriad factors why we have to really, really fucking examine this, because we've already been exposed, and it's for real. It is a thing. So I see a lot of gaslighters out there that want to apologize for this technology, and I just don't see why you wouldn't stand in strong solidarity with the whistleblowers, because they have presented the most breadth and depth of understanding of what is happening with these frequencies. And if we are paranoid about COVID, we have to examine all the factors that release hydroxynitrite. It's kind of like how I heard it described from somebody who read Dr. Mercola's EMF book. Is that it's like an inflammation marker. It's involved with harmful processes in the body. So when I read about that, I was like, oh no, it's like C-reactive protein. It's like acrylamide. Like, it's the stuff turning on these pathways again. So if we know the biological pathways to look at, we will continue to see. That's what's so troubling, is that the effects are there. And we need to protect ourselves and our communities to the utmost extent. FCC, Agipai, please, the public does not have trust, and you are betraying the public trust, and the liability will come back around. We will come back around. We're not going to allow a carcinogenic scourge like cigarettes to expand. Thank you so much. Mwah.